Shalom, shalom, it's the brother Kadash. Want to start off by giving our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Quadash. This is going to be executing, I think it's executing wisdom, right? And that's very important, right? Because I actually heard that from like another podcast, and when I heard it, I was like, man, okay, that kind of hit me. I was like, that's very important, right? Because it's not just that you have to get wisdom, you have to be able to execute wisdom, meaning that, in certain scenarios you have to be able to use that wisdom. You see what I'm saying? Like, here, let me, so a lot of times us young men, I speak for myself, we come into the truth, right? And that's what it is. That's what the truth is wisdom. So you want the truth, you want to learn all this wisdom and stuff like that. But it's one thing to just go through and learn a whole bunch of wisdom, but to know how to use that wisdom and execute that wisdom. See, that's why you kind of you can't just rush through like the Bible and read the whole Bible and like, okay, I read all the wisdom. You got to learn it. You got to live with it so you could be able to use that wisdom in different things. That's what the law, statutes, and commandments, the great thing about the law, statutes, and commandments is it gives us wisdom. That's what it is. It's wisdom on how to be a holy and chosen people and be holy and clean for the Lord. And that wisdom gives us life. You see what I'm saying? So having wisdom and just knowing where to get wisdom is one thing, but knowing how to use that wisdom in different situations is the key. And that's what the Bible gives you, wisdom, and teaches you how to use that wisdom. A lot of time our elders, they have that wisdom and that knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because they have been through these different things, right? They have that experience, so they've been through different things a lot of times. So when they see it happen again, they know how to execute the wisdom. They know how to handle these situations. And that's the thing that we have to, also study on and meditate on, is how to execute wisdom, how to use it in different situations, right? So the word execute, which is EXECUTE, the definition of it is to carry out or put into effect. So you could know the Bible, and you see this with a lot of men. You see this with a lot of men that claim to be in the truth. You can know like scriptures. You can know the Bible, what it says to do in certain situations. Like for example, it says, "Give not thy power, thy strength," roughly paraphrasing, to a woman, right? Now, brothers know those precepts, but do they know how to execute it? Do they know how to put that into effect when they're dealt with a situation? A lot of brothers don't. They just know it, they could quote it, but they don't know how to actually put it into effect. So it says a plan, order, or course of action, right? Carry out a sentence, right? So it means to carry out, to put in effect. So like situations like giving out a woman that strength, do you know how to put that into effect in your life and live it? See, that's why when you go to Romans 2, let's go to Romans 2. That's why when you go to Romans 2, it says this, right? Because you can't just be a Jew outwardly, right? You have to be one inwardly. Now, people take this to mean that, well, they can say they believe the Lord, and you don't have to be an Israelite by flesh. Like, you don't have to be an Israelite. Like, you don't have to come through the seed of Israel if you just believed, and that makes you an Israelite inwardly. That's not what this is talking about. What this is talking about is, to qualify, you have to be through the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which would make you an Israelite, right? A Jew, if you come from the tribe of Judah, right? But it's not just enough to be an Israelite on the outwardly, but still be wicked inwardly. Because when the Israelites were wicked inwardly, and they was following after these other nations and worshiping their gods, that made them Gentiles. Even though they were still Israelites by the flesh, right? But you also have to be an Israelite inside too, which means that you have to follow the Lord in the Lord's ways, right? So Romans 2, right? Verse 28, "For he is not a Jew which is one outwardly," meaning that, yeah, you may be a Jew through seed, right? "Neither is the circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew which is one inwardly." But you have to be an Israelite inwardly too, meaning you have to live this, not just oh, when you see me outwardly, I look like an Israelite. I got my garment on, my fringes, but behind closed doors, I'm not really living this. No, it have to be inwardly and outwardly too. You see what I'm saying? So that's a cut on the whole Gentile thing, because what made us Gentiles is we weren't Israelites inwardly. Even though we are through the seed, we weren't Israelites inwardly. That's what made us Gentiles. It says a circumcision of that of the heart and in the spirit, and not of the latter, who praises is not of men but of God. Right. So what I was doing was studying through Wisdom of Solomon. Since we talking about that wisdom, right? You have to be able to execute wisdom. You have to be able to use it in different situations. You have to know, what to do in sound judgment. When you get around brothers, if a certain thing happen, you have to be able to make sound judgment according to the law, statutes, commandments, not your heart. A lot of men are guilty of this. They have respective of persons, and they're man worshiping, and they following commandments of man, and it blinds them from making sound judgment. You can't be a hypocrite. You can't say, hey, look, we got an order. You have to follow our elders. You have to follow them in what they say, even if they're saying things outside of the Bible and the law, statutes, commandments. We still follow them because we believe that they are the man, and we follow their wisdom. But then you condemn other brothers for following their elders at other camps, for following their elders, because they believe that they are the man of the Lord, and they believe in their wisdom and knowledge. That's called hypocrisy. That's called being a hypocrite. You see what I'm saying? So wisdom will show you, okay, I need to apply this, and don't be a hypocrite. Mind your business. You see what I'm saying? But just like the Lord said, he came for the sinners. And just like it says in the book of Revelations at the end, I think it's maybe chapter 20 or 22. What did it say? It says, let them that be wicked be wicked. Let them that be righteous be. See, that's wisdom. That's wisdom right there. See, that's wisdom that I know. If a guy is a part of a different camp and I disagree with their doctrine, my goal is to wake up the ones that sleep, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Those brothers are already woke up. They're already in the truth. You see what I'm saying? So if I deem that they're being wicked based off doctrine, let them that be wicked, like it said in Revelations. Let them that be righteous, be righteous. Right? Matter of fact, we gonna go to that, right? So that's wisdom, right? Here, let's go. It may be Revelations 20. Let's stop there first. Right. No, it's at the end. Nope, it gotta be 22. This is important. This is wisdom right here, to know how to handle things, right? Verse 11, right? It says, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. Does that mean rebuke him for the rest of your life? Like you see some camps going at each other, and they've been going at each other for over 20 years talking about this other camp. You see what I'm saying? So does that mean for the next 20 years continue to condemn them and rebuke them for the next 20 years? No. It says that they're unjust, just let them be unjust still. You just go do the work. Teach the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Right? He which is filthy, let him be filthy still. He that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be holy still. You see what I'm saying? So it goes both ways. Him that's holy, don't try to, go fucking with him and the thing that he got going on. If this, whatever he got going on, if that's making him follow the Lord and believe, even if he is wrong on doctrine, because none of us is perfect. You see what I'm saying? In no type of way. But if a brother believes, and he believes, let him continue to believe, man. Don't go fucking with him and get him off course because you think that you got the truth and he needs to bow down and give authority to you because you think you're on some type of level, which you know what, none of us know what type of level we on. You can get praises from all the men in the world. If that's the case, shit, Joel Osteen, he get more praises from mankind and people than any one of us Hebrew Israelites. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about you getting praises from men, man. We gonna all find out. And I got another video, about the truth and the lies. It says we gonna find out the truth and the lies. We all gonna find out who the man of the Lord is. We all gonna find out who got what correct. We all gonna find out who gets salvation. You see what I'm saying? So that's what it's all about. And if a brother gets salvation, let's just say you hate a brother or you got something against this brother. If this brother gets salvation and you get salvation, ain't nothing you can say, man. He got saved. The Lord, whatever he was doing, There was enough for the Lord to say, I'm gonna save him. He gonna be one of my elect. And then at that point, it don't matter what anybody that ever said about you. You one of the elect at the end of the day. So let them talk. You know what I mean? Let them talk, bro. Because if you get saved and you get chose by the Lord, it's game over. Ain't nothing else you can say about it. You know what I mean? So because a lot of brothers be wishing on brothers' downfall, right? But this is the wisdom and knowledge, you know? This is in the last book of the Bible. So let him that's unjust be unjust. So you got to have wisdom and know how to execute this, what this is saying. This is wisdom right here. You got to know how to execute this. How does this look in real life? It looks like you minding your business and just teaching the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The rest of the guys that's in the truth, hey, let that be what it is. You see what I'm saying? Like when the wicked Pharisees and the scribes was coming at the Lord, he was rebuking them and correcting them because they was offensively coming at him. But as far as the shit that they was doing, he wasn't going around trying to just get them together and correct them. He said he came for the sinners to repent. That's who he was focused on. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Right? I want to get straight to the point because the first couple of verses is talking about how man is born and how man is formed. And that's also wisdom too. That's definitely wisdom too. Right? Let's go to verse 7. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, start at verse 7. It says, Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon God, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I prefer her before spectrums and thrones, and esteem riches, nothing in comparison of her. Right? So you prayed in that understanding and that wisdom. When it says she, is talking about, or if it says her, it's talking about wisdom, a feminine spirit, right? It says, neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as a little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. Because gold and silver, even though those things, how great those things are, none of that is better than wisdom. Remember that old saying where they said a rich man, right? There was something on the lines of like a rich man could lose all his riches, but because of the wisdom and knowledge he could get them all back. I forgot. I think it was like some super rich man that said it. Warren Buffett, I think, said something on those lines where if he was to go broke and lose all his riches, he could probably get the money. He probably get the money back that same day or something like that. He could become rich again that same day. But the reason why he's able to do that is because the wisdom and knowledge. See, people don't understand. Like if you talk about money, let's talk about money. It's not about having money. A lot of people could get a large sum of money, but can you maintain it? That's where the wisdom and knowledge come in at, if you can maintain it. So it's not about who's getting the most, it's about who's getting the longest, longevity. But let's get back into the scripture. It says, so you can't compare to precious stones or gold, because wisdom is even more important than that. You could have all the precious stones and gold all you want, but if you ain't got the right wisdom and knowledge, those things could be taken from you. So we see like with the man Gaddafi, right? And that's in Libya. He had gold, he had a country, but he was put to death because that wisdom and knowledge of how to do, what to do, you know what I mean? That and really he didn't have the wisdom and knowledge to follow the Lord and profess the Lord's name. Maybe he would have lasted longer. It says, I love her above health and beauty, and choose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh from her never goes out. Because health and beauty, you have to have wisdom in order to have long health and beauty, right? It says, all good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hand. So everything good that you got, it came from having that wisdom. But not just having that wisdom, knowing how to use that wisdom in different situations. Like, let me give you some more examples, right? This is worldly examples, so you can understand. Like you may get a job, but your wisdom and knowledge tells you, let me put my money in a bank account and not put it at the house so somebody could rob me. You see what I'm saying? So yes, you're working to get money, but that wisdom and knowledge that you have to go with getting that money helps you maintain that money. And that's just like an example. So really anything good you get it from wisdom and knowledge. You see what I'm saying? There's some type of wisdom and knowledge that happen. You may get the love of your life, right? But you can't put her over wisdom, because how did you get that woman? You probably had a charm about you. Sometimes we call it game. You have some type of game, but that's really just wisdom and knowledge. You sat down with her at a bar. You see what I'm saying? You met her and you knew the right things to say to her. You know what I mean? To get her to give you her number, or get her to leave that night with you. You said the right words in the right way. That's wisdom. That's knowledge. You see what I'm saying? But even more important than those worldly examples is the wisdom and knowledge of how to please the Lord, which goes back to what? The commandments. So you could be blessed and not cursed. Right? So let's keep going. It says, and I rejoice in them all, because wisdom goeth before them. And I knew not that she was the mother of them. I learned diligently. So we get in the Bible, we learn diligently, and do communicate her liberally. So when you get to the communicating part of wisdom, now that's executing wisdom in different situations. Because what is communicating wisdom? Is it just saying the word wisdom? No. You learned the wisdom, but then you learn how to execute wisdom. When you communicate her, that means that you're executing wisdom in different situations. You're showing that wisdom. Don't just get wisdom and just let it go to waste. You learn it, you know where to go to the Bible to learn different wisdom, meaning different things to do in different situations, right? But then you just let that go to waste because you don't never use that information, that wisdom that you got. You have to use it, man. I see this so many times where brothers know they can quote the precepts, the scriptures, but they don't actually use it in real life. It says, do not hide her riches, meaning don't learn it diligently and then go out there in the world and then you hide it. You like, man, you know all this. You be like, you ever talk to somebody, you like, man, why you do that? And they be like, yeah, I know, I should have did this way. I would have had more success if I did it this way. And then you say, well, why didn't you do it that way if you already knew? And then they say, I don't know. That's because they don't execute the wisdom. They know it, but whatever reason, something is hindering them for making the right judgment, meaning executing that wisdom. So this is very important. It says, for she is a treasure into man that never faileth, but they which that use become the friends of God. So if you use the wisdom, not just learn it, but you actually know how to use it, you could become the friends of God. What happened with King Saul? He had wisdom and knowledge, but at some point he made a mistake and he didn't use that wisdom and knowledge. He was the friend of God until he disobeyed the Lord's commandments to kill everything, and he went against that, and then he became not the friend of God. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord was watching over him for evil, pretty much to take him out. And that's what happened, because any man that dies, it dies by the way of the Lord. It says, being commanded for the gift that come from learning. So what happened with King David? He had wisdom and knowledge. He sinned against the Lord. But you want to know what? His wisdom made him humble himself when he sinned against the Lord, asked for forgiveness, and it was granted to him. So that wisdom is what saved him. That wisdom that he had. Same thing, King Solomon. What did he ask for? Did he ask for riches, gold? No, this is wisdom of Solomon, because that's what King Solomon asked for, is wisdom and knowledge. And that's what was given to him. And because he got that wisdom and knowledge, and that's what he asked for, everything else was added to him. You see how it works? It takes wisdom and knowledge to know that. You see, because a lot of brothers, let's just say, if you could ask the Lord for one thing, like he grant you a wish. I know a lot of brothers in the world right now that I grew up with that have asked for $1 billion, that have asked for woman, that have asked for maybe a mansion. You see what I'm saying? That asked to be famous, rich and famous. I probably could name damn near 50 people that'll say rich and famous. If they can ask the Lord for one thing, is to be rich and famous. Now I got some deeper brothers out there that may ask for to live forever, that may ask for, different things like that, deeper things. But you want to know what? All you got to ask for is wisdom and knowledge. Just like King Solomon did, because if you get that wisdom and knowledge, guess what? Now you got the wisdom and knowledge how to get any woman. You got the wisdom and knowledge how to get riches and maintain riches. You got the wisdom and knowledge how to live forever. Because Yahweh Shai has that wisdom and knowledge. So that means that it's possible. We just waiting for the Lord to come back and give us that. See, when we get in the kingdom, It's a lot of great things about the Lord coming back and us getting in the kingdom that goes under, like that brothers don't think about. It's the Lord coming back and being with us. That's like the biggest thing. But what is the Lord bringing back with him when he comes back? He's bringing back wisdom and knowledge. What's going to make us great in the kingdom is we going to get those new bodies, which it takes wisdom and knowledge to understand those new bodies and what they are, you see. But we going to get that wisdom and knowledge. We going to find out. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord's going to give us wisdom and knowledge. Just like he give the Edomites wisdom and knowledge right now to help them develop their technologies. They're not doing that on their own. They didn't develop a nuclear bomb on their own. The Lord gave them the wisdom and knowledge of how to split an atom and build a nuclear bomb. So just think of the wisdom and knowledge when he comes back that he's going to give us. So you're going to have things, then they say you're going to live forever. So that means that there's some type of wisdom and knowledge on how to make a human being live forever. And the Lord is going to give us that, because when you go back and you look at Abraham and Sarah, you know what I mean? They were living for a very long time. And then when you look at man before that, you know, in the Old Testament, they lived a lot longer than us. You see what I'm saying? I think the life kept on humans today, they say, is like 120 years. You see what I'm saying? But most humans don't make it there because of remember, they don't have the wisdom and knowledge for health. If you had the wisdom and knowledge for health, you may make it to that. You see what I'm saying? But the Lord going to take that cap off of us, and we going to live forever, you know? Because why? Because we're going to have the wisdom and knowledge not to sin. Because the law, statutes, and commandments is going to be written in our hearts. So therefore, we don't sin no more. We don't die no more. You see how it all goes together? Right? Let's keep going. God has granted me, this verse 15, to speak as I would and to conceive as is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that letteth into wisdom and directeth the wise. So really it's the Lord that's directing the wise, right? So even the wise of the other nations, the Lord is directing them right now, right? It says, for in his hand are both we and our words, all wisdom also. So in the Lord's hand is all wisdom. That's why I said, like, if we see chariots, that means that there's some type of wisdom and knowledge behind those chariots. The Lord has that. You see what I'm saying? Like, just think about this. Like, take a Tesla, right? It's ran off a battery, electric. That means you ain't got no oil change, you ain't got no coolant change, none of that. You ain't got no crankshaft, you ain't got no engine. I mean, you got like an electric battery, right? But you ain't got like no gas engine. It's not ran off gasoline. That means that you don't have pulleys, you don't have gaskets, you don't have timing chains, you don't have none of that. So just take that Tesla, right? Now, you think they just developed that on their own. No, the Lord gave them that wisdom. Now, take that car and take that back to, let's just say when we came over here, they say 1619. So take that same car to the 1600s. They gonna look at that car like that's a UFO. Like, what is it? It ain't got no key. You know what I mean? It brakes on its own. You know what I mean? And they could drive on their own. They gonna say, what is this? They gonna think it's some type of animal. You know what I mean? If you take it back to ancient days, they'd probably say it's a dragon or something like that. But there's actual wisdom and knowledge behind those things, man. So if a Tesla car, I'm just using this as an example for wisdom and knowledge, is made today. So that car exists today and people can go buy it and it's a real thing today. That means that it could have been made in the 1600s. That means that it could have been made in the year in 70 AD. It could have been made. Because the particles and the material to build that car was still around during that time too. It's just they didn't have the wisdom and knowledge to build something like that. But imagine if they did. Now the Lord has it. So just think about that. Like, let that sink in. Like, just for example, a Tesla car today. It's made out of the same materials that was always on Earth. So that means that same car could have existed in the 1600s. Could have existed in the 1300s. They just didn't have the wisdom and knowledge to do it. So if you take that same thought, right? Think about what we got right now and think about what's possible. Oh, the technology or the wisdom that the Lord has that's waiting to be given to us. You see what I'm saying? We gonna find out. We gonna what does it mean to say we gonna find out? That mean that the Lord gonna give us that wisdom one day, right? Here I'm finna end it. Right down here. In knowledge of workmanship, right? Says in all wisdom also, this is in the Lord's hand, in knowledge of workmanship. So let's look up the definition of, I'm having fun right now, man, I ain't gonna lie, of workmanship definition, right? So the definition of workmanship is a degree of skill with which a product is made or a job is done. So that said that a degree of skill, that's in the Lord's hands. So like if you know like the car Tesla, since we using that as an example, well, we know the word Tesla, that comes from the man named Tesla. So he been had that technology that they just now kind of showing today. He been had that when he was alive. You see what I'm saying? So the technology of a nuclear missile, which is fairly new, but it's not. It's been around. What do you think the Lord did with Sodom and Gomorrah? He split an atom and caused the nuclear missile. But maybe it wasn't a missile, but the Lord has maybe even more advanced technology than or wisdom, you could say technology or wisdom, than even a nuclear missile, that he don't need a missile to do it. He could just create it out the air, the same effect of a splitting of an atom. You see? So that technology been around. The mark of the beast, right? The mark of the beast, which is the chip, right? Which, let's not speak on that on YouTube. But the Lord been having this. This is all the Lord stuff, man. Whether it be good or evil, the Lord is control of everything. Why? For just his purpose. He wants his will to be done. You see? So I hopefully you understand it, and hopefully you know that, you know, pulled on some mind strings, you know, for you to go deeper. It's a good thing to get in the Bible and learn that wisdom, but not just learn that wisdom, learn how to use that wisdom in real life. You see what I'm saying? The Ark of the Covenant, they've been coming out saying the Ark of the Covenant was a superconductor. So that means that we could build the Ark of the Covenant today still and use it the same way they saying it was used in Egypt. You see what I'm saying? And we could use it, you know. But our people, you know, we want to get all this wisdom and knowledge and then sit back and then just talk shit about each other. Rather than coming together and use the wisdom and knowledge of the Bible. We can actually do that. You see what I'm saying? But, hey, salvation to the elect. Shalom.